All right, welcome everyone. It is Friday. Everyone getting ready for the weekend. Let's do some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. Let me just put this music slightly here in the background. Maybe I might put it louder a little bit later, have a little bit of a party over here. Let's make it exciting. Let's do some technical analysis. Yes, I'm looking at CVD here at the moment. I am currently in a little scalp long together with the community. We took a trade together. Well, I'm not sure if everyone jumped into the trade because the risk management was absolutely fantastic. Now, let's see if TP1 can be smacked. So on the 1 hour time frame, let's get into the 1 hour time frame and see, well, what is happening here on the 1 hour time frame. But maybe before we discuss the larger structure over here, maybe let me tell you why I'm currently in a small little long trade. Why did I take it? And for that, we're going to have to go here onto the 5-minute time frame because this is only a scalp trade that I got into. Yeah, maybe I'll leave a moonbag open. Okay, a little runner. I'll leave a little runner open to the upside. And remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. And let's get into it. So the one thing, guys, you know, I'm just from a day trading perspective, and I know I always repeat myself, but from a day trading perspective, I'm just looking to trade these little structures up and down, okay? Levels of confluence. So at the moment, I'm in a high, I'm in a long, okay? From around this zone over here, I'm in a long. And I'll explain to everyone why I took that long. And I was planning to take the long a little bit lower as well. But I had a very, very tight stop loss. Very tight stop loss. And it literally looked like the low was going to be claimed. And that is exactly where I posted the update inside of our community. Okay, as price was falling here to the downside, I said, guys, the invalidation looks absolutely amazing. Where is that long trade? Let me see if I still have it here. Yeah, this is the trading setup. Okay, that was the trading setup. I said from a risk management perspective, it does not get better than this. Okay, it really doesn't get better than that. Okay, I entered along around about this zone over here somewhere. Okay, and TP1 almost got hit. TP1 almost got hit, and I'll explain the trading scenario as well. It's completely up to you how you want to manage your trade, where you want to take profits. But I've actually now moved my stop loss to this low. I've moved my stop loss to this low. And if I get stopped out, at least I get stopped out with profits. But I'll explain to you why that low for me is so important. Yes, I can get stopped out. There's always that risk by moving a stop loss too soon. There's always that risk that it does that. I know there is that risk of the structure doing that. But it is what it is. This is my trading plan at the moment. So let me discuss. So when I looked at this little structure from the high that we formed over here, from this high, okay, what is this? I was trying to figure out this morning, what is this? Is it impulsive or is it corrective? And can I count something completed from this high to this low? Okay, is there a chance that this could be a completed 3-wave structure? You have your trend, okay, that's potentially another trading opportunity. If price breaks out, okay, maybe we're going to go and claim that high. But I wanted to get in early. I wanted to get in early so that I can start taking profits here already, okay, at the highs, at this little consolidation area. Maybe I'll add to my position. We'll see how the structure unfolds and how I'm going to manage my trade here to the upside. Okay, but from this high, and I think this is now the interesting point, is from this high to the low, is there a completed corrective structure? Yes, and this corrective structure can either be counted in a WXY, a W. Let me just see here. A, B, C. Actually, I do have it here. Okay, let me not do that. W, X, A, B, C in Y. Okay, so there's a chance. That's what I told the community this morning, that the correction could be done at this low. There's a chance because I can count a completed WXY. And this is why I attempted the trade. And I said the trading opportunity looks very interesting. If we do not take this low, okay, if we do not take this low, there's a chance that this high can be claimed again. But it's only a scalp trade, guys. For me, it's only a scalp trade, okay? Because the other thing that I'm keeping in mind is that this can also be an ABC. It's not that one. Where did I should have sorted my folders properly before I started the live stream. Okay. But basically, let me draw that out. It could also be an A, B, C, B, C. Let me move B that way. Okay. Anyways, it's a three-wave structure. You guys get the point. It's either WXY or it's an ABC. It's a three-wave structure. Okay. And then what happened is I know that if this is the end, you do not want this low to be claimed again. And this is why I attempted a long here with a tight stop loss. Okay, that's the one trading scenario. We could be finished with an ABC or a WXY, which means that after your correction is done, there's a chance that you can go and claim that high again. So that made me interested in the long positions. Guys, this is a little bit of education. That's the thinking process that I'm going through and the reason why I entered that trade. Now, I try and work out, well, what is the worst case scenario? Okay, what if the low, okay, as price was falling down here, it's scary. Should I enter? Should I not enter? What if it falls here to the downside? Okay, it stops me out. I don't want to just jump into a trade. So this is why I then said, well, after a C wave, okay, this could be a W. That can give you a W. Okay, so then maybe this can be an A, B, C to the upside to form a X. And then you go down in a B, C to complete your Y wave. Okay, so that was another worst case scenario for me, is to say that, okay, so if we're still going to move down, I still expect a three-wave structure in an X wave. So I can still take advantage of that move. Okay, so again, it's either an ABC that's complete, we move up, claim the high, or the correction continues, but I still expect a three-wave structure, so my directional bias is still up. Okay. What's the worst case scenario that could play out over here? So now I'm trying to think of what is the absolute worst case scenario that can play out over here. And then I came up with the nested 1-2s. Let me see. For our, there was a, guys, I do apologize. For some reason, okay, that was my nested 1-2 scenario over here. Okay, let me just move that too. The worst case scenario that I identified is, okay, if the high is in and we're absolutely going to tank to the downside in a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, I still expect momentum up from this low. Okay, so that was my directional bias. In the worst case scenario, I can take advantage of this move. I need to take profits and I need to manage this trade properly. The best case scenario, you go and claim that high. So from a trade management perspective, I will leave a runner open. Okay. So that is basically how I planned this trade this morning that I shared with the community. So loads of education over here. But yeah, guys, now, yeah, is one of your scenarios. Worst case scenario, structure is building multiple 1-2s to the downside. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, okay? And the structure that I really don't like, and they are very difficult to trade, this can form a running flat, which means that this high does not have to claim those highs. Okay, and this is why I moved my stop loss a little bit higher, because if it wants to fall here to the downside, at least I get stopped out with a little bit of profit. Okay, so if I'm wrong, how little can I lose? That's what I'm, how little can I lose if I'm wrong? If price is going to tank here to the downside, I don't want to be that person that just adds to my position and eventually I get liquidated. Okay, so that is basically the trade that I'm still in here at the moment. Okay, that's basically still the trade that I'm in at the moment. And so that is the worst case scenario that I see here. Okay, since the high, the question is now, since we made this high, is there a chance to absolutely fall to the downside? Yes, in a nested 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. This correction is a little bit long compared to this correction. This nested 1 2 scenario does not look pretty. I'll be honest, it does not look pretty, but I have to keep it in mind. Okay. And I can tell you now, if it does play out, I know exactly how to trade and look for longs inside of this zone. And they are one of my favorite structures to trade. The scenario that makes a little bit more sense is if we form that ABC, okay, which forms a larger WXY to the downside. Okay, this scenario makes a little bit more sense. It has it doesn't have mistakes. From a technical perspective, it actually looks beautiful. The levels balance better. There's not like, doesn't make sense, whatever the case might be. But now this is where it will also get very interesting, because you can see that it's going to mimic that nested 1 2s. Okay, so if it moves up, maybe it rejects here by this trend. Okay, and it falls down in a 3-wave structure. That's the difference. It needs to fall down in a 3-wave structure. Okay, I will also be looking for longs. Okay, so you could have from this high, you could still form a larger corrective structure to the downside, and then after Y wave is in, you go and you claim that high. Okay, for the moment, for now, based on the current price action that we have, this structure looks more corrective than impulsive. Okay, for the bulls, unfortunately, if you want confirmation that we are going to move up, claim the high and even go higher, you need this high to be claimed. Okay, $97,000 has to be claimed, because that will invalidate a nested 1 2, which is at the moment the most bearish case scenario. So the bulls have their work cut out for them. So you really want price to continue here to the upside, break the trend, close some high time frame candles above, take this high, okay, and then the opportunity for the bull starts to increase, that you can go and claim that high and even move higher, maybe go and smack that the 0.382 from the larger time frame perspective. We'll go into the larger time frame in a moment. So just a little bit of education that I wanted to share. Well, why did I jump into this trade? How do I work out probabilities? One of the other things that I was keeping in mind is that if I switch on my point of controls, okay, I was waiting for this level. But I knew that there's a chance we might not smack that level. Okay, because in a WXY, you can form, okay, and this is what I also highlighted in the community, you can form an A, B flat, and a C to the upside. So I told the guys, well, this is the trading setup that I'm looking at, okay. If I get stopped out, because that's my stop loss, if I get stopped out, I'm then looking for a B flat, because you could form an A, B flat, and a C to the upside. So I was still looking for a long in this zone. I get stopped out, and then these levels become very interesting trading levels here to the downside. You then zoom into this little structure, guys, and I know I'm stuffing around here on the 5-minute time frame, okay, but this is what you need to do if you want to enter some successful scalps. Is you take a fib from the low to the high, you drag it across, you reverse it to the downside. Just want to switch on my flat targets. Okay, there we go. We did bounce so nicely on the 0.9, which by the way is the minimum B flat requirement. If we took the low, I was going to keep pay attention to the 1-to-1 extension, 1.3236, 1.382, and the 1.618 was my invalidation. If price fell further and claimed my invalidation, I was no longer interested in a long. Okay, so this is how I was planning to trade this morning. So at the moment, I'm currently in this trade, and I think interesting levels from a profit-taking area here to the upside is, of course, I will leave a little runner, okay, is that the most interesting levels now here to the upside is when you take a fib from the low to the high to the low. Let's swing it back to the upside. Now I put on my normal targets, okay. Well, now these levels to the upside become very interesting. 1-to-1 extension. That is my TP1 for this trade. That is my TP1 for this trade. Okay. 1.236. Well, I'll see how price reacts there, but this is my next interesting area for a TP2. And then TP3 when we get to the trend and the 1.618. And then I'll leave a runner. We still have a naked point of control here to the upside, a fresh naked point of control. So price could give you that little bit of the fake out, okay, and fall to the downside. Because you could still form that A, B, C, form your X wave and go down for an A, B, C. So for me, it's just how I want to manage the trade. Yes, I'll leave a runner open, but I will most probably be 80%, 70% out of my trade at these levels. Okay. What I'm also going to do is after this live stream for the community, what I'm going to do after the live stream, there's something that I want to share with you. Yeah. Okay. I want to share with you how I got into this trade, where I had limit orders and where I had my invalidation set as well. So I want to leave that for the community, but I will share that after the live stream from an educational perspective inside of the community. So if you want to be part of the community, it is DM me the word join. I now have my own. You can basically you can message me directly. Okay, DM the word join on Telegram. Here's my Telegram handle. Okay, if you want to be part of our community, unfortunately, it's no more 30 days for free. But if you want to be part of the community where we drop additional alpha, myself, Andy, the coaches, news, there's so much happening in the community. That's where basically we took this trading setup together this morning. Because guys, this is no zone. This is no zone for me to jump into a long. Okay, the best zone for me to have jumped into the long was at the naked point of control. This was the longing zone for me, not okay. Because now you're exposing yourself to so much risk, okay? It doesn't make the risk to reward worth it anymore. 1.29 risk to reward if you enter here. We might not even get to these levels, okay? We might not even get here to the top. So please do not FOMO into trades. If you missed it, you missed it. You wait for the next trading opportunity. Okay, so I know that this was very complex in the way that I've explained it from an Elliott wave perspective. From a simplicity perspective, you practice your strategies. Okay, so let's take this out the way. I told the guys, well, if you want confirmation, okay, because while I was entering over here with a tight little stop loss, I said, if you're too scared to enter this trade, wait for confirmation. Okay, so there was the next opportunity. And that opportunity is also gone now at the moment. So where price is here at the moment, there's just nothing for me to do. Okay, except manage the trade that I'm currently in. Legends, are you all getting rich from the silver craze? It trades way easier than crypto, not a shill. Yeah, Mr. SGS, silver is absolutely doing amazing things. But welcome for joining, and glad to see you here in the live stream. Hello, chartist, Mr. Rudy. Have a great trading day. Exceptionally, I can attend the stream 9 to 5 issues. Oh, yes. Most people. Hello, lovely Olive. Hey, Dewald. Welcome to the live stream, man. Hello, legends. Hello, master. Wow, so much alpha. Tap that like button, folks. Yes, Nico. I mean, yeah, guys, you know, this education, I don't think you're going to get on any other channel except, Okay, I don't think you're going to get these education, because it teaches you how to look for that next trading setup, how I manage my risk. And you can see everything that I've explained to you here is always with a mindset of, if I'm wrong, how little can I lose? And when I'm right, okay, where do I start scratching profits from the markets? Okay, so it's about keeping your wins big and your losses small. Okay, so currently in this trade, there's always a risk, and this is why we have stop losses in place. There's always a risk that it just falls. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be very interested in a long in this zone if it falls from right here, because the flat already played out. The A, B flat already took out. Okay, for this to happen and then get the bounce, not high probability, but I mean, you can still pay attention to the levels. I'd rather get stopped out and see for high probable trades, because since this low, I now want a C wave to form here to the upside. Okay, guys, I don't even know if I should go here onto the 1 minute time frame. Okay, but let's have some fun over here on the 1 minute time frame. Since this low was formed, what I would like to see is for an impulse to build to the upside. So I'm aware that this can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your C wave, that's your X, okay? And you can now fall to the downside. Small little C wave, okay? A, B, small little C wave. And when your C wave does not take the highs, that is what we refer to as a running flat. Running flats are very rare corrective structures. So ideally, what I would like to see, because I trade with probabilities, okay, and a running flat structure is rare, I would rather want to see the price from a probability perspective still move higher and claim at least these highs. So maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that you now have formed your first wave inside of your C wave. This is 2, you go up for 3, 4, 5. I would like to see a larger A, B, C, then potential rejection to the downside. But like I said, guys, there's a chance that your C wave, because now this is the conundrum, okay? You never know. After an A, oops, let me take that out. After an A and a B and a C, you never know whether that is the C wave or whether this is forming the first structure inside of a bigger C wave. That's the conundrum. Okay? And this is why I moved. I can only share with you guys what I am doing. Okay, this is my trading plan. You might have a completely different trading plan. This is why I moved my stop loss to here. Because if this is 1 and this is 2, I really want the third wave to continue and not take this low again. There's always a chance that you form a larger W or for A, B, C, and then you continue. So actually the best thing to do is just leave your stop loss where your stop loss is supposed to go. Okay, that's actually the best thing to do, because you could still form a larger corrective structure. You get stopped out, okay, because it's a WXY, a ABC, and then you get the push to the upside. Right, stuffing around here on the 1 minute time frame. That's absolutely insane. Okay, so now I want to, now that I've discussed the local time frame over here, so ideally, in summary, guys, since this low was made, it would be nice for price to still push up here to the upside, to at least maybe this naked point of control, create a fake out. Okay, that's a nice little shorting opportunity. Also, the extensions that I've just shared with everyone over here. Okay, you can also keep an eye on these levels here to the upside, because there's a chance. Okay, let's go back here onto the 5 minute time frame. There's a chance that this is a W, you form an X, and you go down for an ABC. There's a chance that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4545 to the downside. Okay, so it's an interesting area for me to also look for shorts. Okay, so let's now focus on the larger structures over here and see what is cooking. I think what I want to do is I actually want to move my stop loss to where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to just move my stop loss back because I know that it can form a larger corrective structure. I don't want to be stopped out of that trade. And by the way, this TP line over here is where I'm going to take 30% profits. So I've set this to 30% profits, and then I'll TP myself out of the position as it moves to the upside. Okay, that C wave has to be wait. That C wave has to be a 5 wavers necessarily. Yes, a C wave is always a 5 wave structure. It's not allowed to be any other structure. It has to be a 5 wave structure. So here on the 5-minute time frame, I can see that we already created 5 waves to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a chance that your C wave is in. Okay, and you fall down. But there's also now a chance that you form your first leg inside of your C wave. Okay, this is either 2 or 2 is still in the formation. Maybe 2 is going to be over here, but what you don't want is this low to be claimed. You do not want this low to be claimed. Because as soon as this low is claimed, it means the C wave is done. But you could form a larger C wave to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's just about how you want to manage your trade, where you want to take profits. It's just frustrating that this high, okay, it's really frustrating that this high did not at least claim these highs. Really frustrating. Sometimes it is what it is, because you can get that rare structure that forms a running flat, and now, okay, it's going to build. I mean, it has to be said, just looking locally over here, since this high was made, that this is a 3-wave structure. If the structure did this, I would have most probably gotten out of the position. Okay, if I saw that, I would have most probably gotten out of the position. But because it's a 3-wave structure, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, because this could also still form an A, B, C, and then it continues. That's why I moved my stop loss now, because I realized I don't want to get stopped out and then it leaves without me. I had a beautiful entry, okay, get stopped out because, and it just forms a larger corrective structure and continues. So the best plan for me is to actually just leave my stop loss where it's supposed to go. Right. Also, I think if the correction is going to continue here to the downside, what I like to do is the following. Okay, these are now the levels that I will pay attention to. Okay, if the corrective structure is going to continue, maybe this is an A, that's your B, and you form a C here to the downside. I have my 1-to-1 extension, 1.382, very common. You have a consolidation area, and then there's 1.618, magic, absolutely magic. Okay, very magical number over there. Okay, because if this is a 1 and this is a corrective structure, usually your 1.618 is your maximum target. Obviously, if you're going to smack the 2, you're going to invalidate the structure. Okay, now let's go here onto the 1 hour time frame. And look at what has formed over here. So let me just switch off the point of controls. And before I do, remember guys, down in the description, here are the exchanges that I trade with. If you want to join my community, okay, message the word join to me on Telegram. Okay, I've got Bluffin. They still have that amazing deal if you register, okay, and you haven't traded on Bluffin yet, you get VIP access 1 for 30 days. BTCC is where you can trade silver, gold, commodities. So we all know silver is absolutely on a rampage. So that D-line strategy is absolutely amazing on silver at the moment. I've got Valto, Weeks, okay. So if you want the best deals that these exchanges has to offer, the links are always down in the description. Now, looking at this structure here to the upside, maybe let's go into the 15-minute time frame, because I know there's a lot of questions around this structure and it can play out various ways. Okay, so let's zoom in. Let's put the structure here on the chart. Since this low was created over here, okay, what can we see here to the upside? Well, for now, there's a chance that your 5-wave structure is done. You have formed a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Okay, and inside of each wave, I can beautifully count 5 waves to the upside. Okay, there's a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the smaller time frames. As you zoom in, there's also a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extended 5th wave, and there's also a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nice little 5-wave structure, impulse here to the upside. Also, what you like to see, you want to see your 5th wave end on a lower amount of volume, which it did. Okay, so there's a chance from a channeling perspective. Let me grab my parallel channel over here, switch on my magnet. Okay, that your impulse is done. There's a chance that it's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I know that there's a different count. Also, I'm just taking the channel into consideration as well, that some people are looking at something like this. The 4th wave is still in the formation. From a channeling perspective, you don't want to see that. It's not an invalidation. Your hardcore invalidation is claiming the 0.618. When I take a fib from the low to the highs, okay, this is your invalidation. Right over there. That is your hardcore invalidation. But from a channeling perspective, it's not great to see this. Okay, you want your 4th wave, like what happened here. You want your 1, 2, 3, 4 to be inside of the channel, and you create another wave to the upside. So there's a chance that this structure is completed. That's 4. That's 5. Your impulse is done. So the interesting thing about, okay, let's entertain the scenario. Let's say the impulse is finito. It's done in a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is correcting this impulse where you want to see a higher low and continuation to the upside. So that to me makes more sense at the moment. Okay, if you want, for the bulls, if you still want to see continuation to the upside, there's a good chance that your high is in. You want to form a higher low for continuation to the upside. And that is where I will then consider, okay, the WXY or the ABC that's potentially finished here at the moment. But you could still form your W, your X, and your Y to the downside. 3-wave corrective structure. Okay, you have an impulse, you look for longs, and then you can continue in a 3rd explosive wave to the upside. Okay, most bearish case scenario is those nested 1-2s here to the downside. Remember, guys, here we go. Okay, that is your most bearish case scenario. So it really depends on how price moves down here. Okay, for the moment, this is the only impulse that makes sense to the downside. If this is the high and we're going to move down, okay, let me go here onto the 1 hour. Okay, this is now the danger, guys. Okay, let me explain the danger, the absolute danger over here. I just want to take this out the way. So from a higher time frame perspective, if the high is in and the 3-wave corrective structure is done, you want to form impulses to the downside. And the only impulse that makes sense for now is that the nested 1-2s. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. So if I see this structure, okay, you could get your correction and continuation to the downside. So I will be looking for longs, I will be looking for shorts if the structure had to play out. Best case scenario for the bulls, if price is still going to move up, you don't want to see this structure to the downside. You would rather, worst case scenario, what you would want to see is a WXY. you form a higher low, okay, you form a three-wave structure, three-wave structure, three-wave structure, okay, it needs to be corrective. You form a higher low. That actually looks like a beautiful area to find support over there, okay, and you want to see continuation to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you guys get the deal. Okay, best areas to look for longs is obviously taking your fib from the low to the high, because there's a chance that your impulse is done. For now, there's a higher chance that this structure is corrective until proven otherwise. Okay, maximum target for your second wave generally is, well, maximum target for your second wave is the 786. As soon as you start claiming the 0.88, then probabilities are starting to shift towards the bears. Okay, so you really want price to find support in this zone. Okay, but the hardcore invalidation is the bulls should not take this low. Okay, if there's any chance for more upwards momentum, for altcoins to still explode to the upside, for us to at least go and tap that 0.5 or 0.3 level here to the upside. So if I go here onto the 4-hour time frame, very frustrating, right? Very frustrating that we have still not tapped the 0.382. We got very close, but we did not tap the 0.382. Well, let me just make sure. Yeah, did not tap the 0.382. Look how close we got. Okay, maybe there was just too many people waiting for this level. There was way too many people waiting for this level. And by the way, guys, if I zoom in here to the smaller time frame, I highlighted this trading opportunity. I'm not sure if anyone got into this short. Okay, I highlighted this trading opportunity to the T, to the community. This one. And I can show you guys the message as well. Let's reverse this there to the upside. Let me switch on the flat targets. Okay, here we go. I can't remember exactly where price was trading. I think it was trading over here. It was late at night. I was already laying in bed, and I told everyone, I told in the chat section, I would like to see a swing failure from the 1.382. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the trade because I'm in bed, I'm falling asleep. And what happened while I was sleeping? Okay, this happened. Beautiful SFP. So I'm not sure if anyone got into this short. Look how close we got to the 0.382. Okay, but I highlighted, I spoke about this, I said it would be really great to see a swing failure from the 1.382. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a chance that this can still build an impulse here to the downside. So whoever got into the short, congratulations. I did highlight it inside of the community. Okay, it was just, I had such a good trade here to the upside, guys. You know, sometimes for me, it's just nice not to overtrade. This is what I said in the same message as well. Because we caught, well, there was one over here. Okay, there was a trade, beautiful trade. I can't remember exactly what happened here, but I think, yeah, this was an A wave. Yeah, now I remember. This was the A wave. I said, guys, you have a 3-wave structure down. Okay, I entered here. This is where I entered. And I said, when you have a 3-wave structure down, you have a high chance to at least claim the 0.9. At least claim the 0.9. Okay, so this is where I got out of the trade because... Let me switch on the 0.9. Okay. So I was busy with other things. And when I get busy doing other things, I like to just leave a TP. Okay. That's where my TP was. Unfortunately, I closed the entire position at this level. Well, not really unfortunately, because we didn't move much higher and then we fell down. But for me, this was a beautiful trade. So I wasn't really interested in this short. I knew that there's a chance that it could be the high of the entire structure. I was tired. I went to bed. I woke up very early that morning. I was just not feeling like trading anymore. But I did highlight the trading opportunity. Okay, rejection from the 1.382. Whoever got into that trade, let me know in the comments, because I mean, it doesn't get better than that. It's also 786 SFP extension from Big W. Yeah, yes, you're right. You're right. Thomas, yes, yes. I mean, look at this. I know exactly what you mean. If you take your trend-based fib extension, I actually didn't keep an eye on that level. Okay. From this high to this low. Yeah, from that low, let's see, reverse it. Switch on the normal targets. Okay. Oh, yes, you're right. Look at that. 786 got the rejection. Beautiful rejection at the 786, which is, by the way, a Y wave target. Okay. And if you're asking yourself, well, why do you say it's a Y wave target? Well, let me show you. Okay. Because this scenario, let's go here onto the larger time frame. Okay. This scenario still looks very sexy. Okay. It looks still very sexy. Let me see if I have it. Yeah, we go. This scenario still looks very sexy. Let me just take one of these fib levels out the way. There we go. Three-wave structure in W, ABC in a W, X, Y triangle, and now you're forming an A, B, C here to the upside. 786 got smacked. Minimum target already claimed. Most common Y wave target is actually the 1-to-1 extension. But we are already inside of Y wave target area. It can reject at any moment. It doesn't have to go higher. It's already in its target zone. Okay, the minimum target for your Y wave is the 0.618. That's the minimum target. We already smacked another target. Not very common. Okay, the 1-to-1 is more common. And then the most common Y wave target is inside of this box. Okay, so that there's still a chance that this structure can say, I'm not done yet. I am not done at the moment. Okay, I am still going to continue the Y wave here to the upside. Okay, so maybe you have your C wave that's going to extend here to the upside. And now you're forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's a chance, still a chance for a higher low in this zone, where the impulse could be, the first leg is complete, your 1 is complete, you form your 2, you go up for 3, 4, 5. Okay, you guys get the point. But from a directional bias perspective, okay, there's still a higher chance that this structure is corrective. There's a higher chance that this structure is corrective. And you're going to find weakness in this zone, if not already. Okay, and you're going to take this low again. For the moment, that is the highest probability. So it is very interesting to look for shorts in this area. Okay, swing shorts until proven otherwise. And what do I mean by until proven otherwise? Because there is a scenario. I just want to see if I did put it in this folder. There's also another corrective scenario. I don't really like this scenario because of the issues inside of the A wave, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that you have formed your A in a diagonal, okay, a B in a triangle, WXY complex corrective structure in B, and now you're forming your 1, 2, 1, 2, okay, which is now the white scenario over here. You may be forming your another 1, 2 over here. And then you go up for 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. And you can smack that high. Very interested in shorts, and then you go down, claim the low. 3-wave ABC to the upside. The scenario for me doesn't carry the highest probability because of the issues inside of A wave. Okay. It has to be an impulse. And yeah, there's an issue over there. I'm not going to go into detail again because I've discussed this in length in many live streams. Okay, but then also you have your targets to the upside. Okay, you also have your 1-to-1 extension, common box, and then your maximum target for your C wave is usually the 1.618, which basically is going to claim that high. Okay. Most bullish case scenario is that you have formed a 1, a 2, and you want to see continuation. Okay. If sometimes it is what it is, okay, maybe this is a 1. There's issues inside of the same issues that is inside of the A wave is inside of the structure. Okay, maybe sometimes it just is what it is. Maybe this is your 1, this is your 2, but you want to see continuation. Okay, once price gets to these levels, it's a very interesting shorting opportunity because it could be a 3 wave that smacks down. But if it does this, okay, that will be my clue. Okay, Dewald, you need to start switching probabilities. So I will definitely be looking for shorts. Okay, but if I see this, I will be looking for longs over there. So the structure will show me. For the moment, the structure is still a high probable 3-wave structure to the upside, but I need to see 5 waves up for me to change my directional bias. So can you guys see that I rely on technicals to show me the way? Okay. So if this is a diagonal, which is ugly, it carries low probability. A diagonal by itself carries very low probability. And now there's issues inside of the diagonal as well. But sometimes it just is what it is. From a structural perspective, okay, I have to also keep in mind that, just waiting for this to load up, we have still formed a higher low. So this structure is still intact. This move up does not look convincing, but sometimes it just is what it is. You have a high, you have a higher low, and you continue momentum to the upside. Sometimes it just is what it is, but the structure will show me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to see a 5-wave structure. Okay. That is basically the analysis here on the higher time frame. From a higher time frame perspective, the probabilities based on what has happened so far and where price is at the moment is still higher to take out this low. Whether we still move up, okay, it's still higher to take out this low and create a lower high until proven otherwise. And as soon as I do see a strong impulse to the upside, I am going to come here on the live stream and tell you guys, well, it looks like the low probability scenario that had the most issues is materializing. Okay, we could be onto something here for much higher levels. Okay, and that's also why it's important, you know, from a swing trading perspective, there was your opportunity to get in. Just from a simplest, no Elliott wave theory, nothing, guys. There was your opportunity to get in. Your stop goes below the low. And now you start taking profit. That should have been your TP1, TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4. You TP, you know, I can only share with you what I would have done or what I will do from a swing trading perspective. Okay, no Elliott wave theory. Okay, so basically simple technical analysis. I have a low. Price has formed a higher low. It's breaking trend, it's shifting momentum. I'm looking for longs. I know where to put my stop loss and I TP myself out of the position. Okay, as simple as that. And you leave a runner depending on what your trading plan is. Because some people's trading plan is, okay, I'm looking for a long and I'll get out at the highs or I will get out at this zone. Or I'm only going to take profits once the high is taken. Because this does count better as a 3-wave structure. And when you have a 3-wave structure down, there's always a good chance you're going to take the high. So it really just depends on how you want to trade this. Okay, but swing trades, they take long. People don't have patience for swing trades. And I did discuss the swing trading opportunity a while ago. When we were here, do you guys remember, for those of you that has been on the stream, when we were here, I discussed this trading opportunity. I said, guys, forget about Elliott wave theory. Okay, you trade your strategy. That's it. That's your trading strategy. And you will be in profit. You'll be in nice profits now at the moment. You can start taking some off the table because you already hit TP1. Okay. Consolidation area always becomes TP2. These little highs, consolidation, TP3. Okay. The highs always TP4. But you know, that's just how I would have managed this trade here to the upside, because at the end of the day, you're looking for this trade, and how do you manage it? Where do you take profits? Because the last thing you want is for a three-wave structure and it stops you out. Okay, you at least want to get stopped out with profits. How do you manage your stop loss? Where's your stop loss at the moment? If I was in this trade, or if I'm in this trade, okay, I would now place my stop loss below this low over here. Okay, that to me is proper trade management, because now you identify, okay, we started moving. Okay, it's actually supposed to go there. Right. You have an impulse here to the upside. So that could be a 1, a 2. Maybe it's still building a 3, or this is another 1, 2, 1, 2. But that low should not be claimed. Now, ideally, you could even say, okay, well, that low should not be claimed. So you can now move your stop loss to this low. Because if you're speculating on a 1, 2, 1, 2, this low should not be claimed. So it's about trade management. Your stop loss, if I was in this trade, okay, can only tell you guys, my stop loss would be here below this low, just to manage the trade here to the upside. Okay. Let's go through some comments. I just want to see what is happening here on the local time frame. Are we getting upwards momentum? Are we still consolidating? What is cooking over here? What does CVD look like? Let me just refresh this. We are building some. Let me just see here. We are building some bullish CVD. We are building some bullish CVD. Okay, it looks like the bulls could win this little fight to come and claim at least these highs. For now, I do see some bullish CVD forming over here. Okay, local bullish CVD, of which the target is this high. So let's see how this plays out. Let's go through some comments. My mind is set for Elliott wave. Without it, I can't understand. My mind is set for Elliott wave. Without it, I can't understand. Yes, guys, you know, I've spoken about this before, but you know, before I knew Elliott wave theory, I was already a successful trader just using my D-line strategy. The D-line strategy was my first successful strategy. This was the strategy that turned me profitable. Then I went on to swing failure patterns. Swing failure patterns, they are stunning. Okay. Then what did I do? Range, what was it? Volume high, range low, volume harmonic patterns. I must be honest, I don't trade them as often anymore, harmonic patterns. I rely more on swing failure patterns and my D-line strategy together with Elliott wave theory. Okay, but I mean, guys, when you have a combination, okay, of your strategy, because I knew that Elliott wave theory is the most difficult strategy to learn. Okay, if you go and do research on Elliott wave theory, you'll hear a lot of people say it is the most difficult trading strategy to learn. So I knew that I had to start with something simple, just master a trading strategy. And then I left Elliott wave theory for the last. And then I started combining Elliott wave theory with my trading strategy to give me higher probable trades. Okay, and sometimes, you know, the one gets confusing. Sometimes Elliott wave theory just makes absolute sense, and none of my other trading strategies make sense. Then I trade Elliott wave theory. Sometimes the Elliott wave structures don't make any sense to me, and then I rely on my swing failure pattern and my D-line strategy. So it's really great to have multiple tools in your arsenal. Okay. By the way, just to look at this structure on the 15-minute time frame. Guys, it looks like I'm struggling with some connection issues over here. One doesn't want to load up my price action. Here we go. I did see someone talk about this as well. Well, what if this, okay, is a 1, a 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go and form that fifth wave? Yes, definitely a possibility. But, yo, guys, I mean, you know, I'm just a probability trader at the end of the day, okay? To have a corrective structure in a wave 2 that is this long compared to that little impulse doesn't really make sense to me. It makes way more sense to say, okay, this is A, this is a B, and this is your C wave here to the upside. That to me makes way more sense. Okay, but I mean, from a channeling perspective, this one is still intact. Okay, if you take your parallel channel from a channeling perspective, this one is still intact. You're far away from invalidating the structure, far away. Okay, but from a corrective perspective, okay, this is what I like to do is I zoom into this structure and I go and determine the probabilities of this structure. So from the low to the high, okay, this low was formed inside of my invalidation area. That low was formed inside of my invalidation area from a timing perspective. And this is my invalidation area. Okay, you're not going to learn this in theory. You're going to learn this from me, what I like to do. From the 4, and you will see each shade line gets a little bit darker in red. But you will see from number 4, it's red. Then it goes darker red and more darker red and more darker red. When I see an impulse and I see a correction that surpasses my 4, I already start invalidating a second wave. That's my rules that I've put in place. Because it's extremely rare to have a 1 and a 2 that goes this long in time. There's no balance. The balance is completely out of whack. Okay? This makes way more sense, okay, to have this. Now this is beautiful. Look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The structures from a timing perspective balance. Okay, look at this. Beautiful. From the low to the high. Okay, that low, was made within my comfort zone, the best zone. Okay, this little low was made after the 2. It's not here. Okay, that's beautiful. Impulse correction, still within my 3. I will still consider. It's just orange. It's like, oh, it's getting dangerous. Okay, red is like, to get momentum up, the probabilities are starting to decrease, or to count it as an impulse, the probabilities are starting to decrease. Okay, but each structure here, each impulse and correction, impulse correction, it balances from a timing perspective. This 1, 2, no. I would rather label that. So if price is still going to move up, okay, I would much rather say, okay, this is a 1 and a 2. Whoops, wait. Let me correct myself. This is a 1 and a 2. That makes more sense. This is another 1 and a 2. You want to form a higher low. And then you go up for an absolute explosion. Because after a double 1, 2, okay, which is basically, you have a big 1, 2, you have a smaller 1, 2. That's what you want to see in a double 1, 2. And you could get an explosive wave. Because if you're considering this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're most probably going to reject at the high again. Still an interesting shorting opportunity. If price gets there, I'll see how it reacts. Okay. Also, some strategy might work based on other things. You mean other commodities? Yes, but my trading strategies works on all assets and commodities. I've tried them. It's not my favorite to trade gold and silver, gold and silver, guys. I have spot, not spot from a trading perspective, but I actually own physical gold and silver. Okay, but S&P 500, the Nasdaq, I have tried my trading strategies there. It's just the movements are so small. I prefer crypto, okay? I prefer Bitcoin. I do 99% of my trading on Bitcoin. But yes, the trading strategies can be, the trading strategies that I use can be traded with any commodity. Any commodity. It's not designed for Bitcoin. It's designed to trade any market condition, regardless. Okay, so guys, this is basically what I wanted to discuss today. Let's see if these scenarios play out, what's going to happen next. If you are inside of the community, I will keep you updated, okay? And have yourselves an amazing weekend. Until the next one, cheers for now.